My finger's in the way. Good morning from Capone Cabin. I've got to get up and get my booty in gear. I'm gonna upload a video today. We're gonna do it right now on what they call prepping. I hate that term. What you should be keeping in your pantry, and not to panic. Some of the things I've seen is a little spish. You know, some of the panic stricken things that people are putting out there have me a little shook and a little ticked off. So we're just going to go through some common sense, no panic, don't feel bad, no drama pantry items. You guys stay tuned. The first part, if you've got any kind of a backyard, any kind of land, even a patio, I've seen a lot of people get a lot in containers, and even on the sides of their patio, some townhouses have those walls. You have a walled area in the back. They go vertical with their garden. So great. But the first part of, you know, being what they call prepared. God, I hate the word prepping. I really do, guys. Just this is normal life. Self-sustaining. I really love that much better. Self-sustaining. This vegetable bed right here was logs. Literally logs that I just drug across the yard from the woods. Filled it with dirt. Red clay dirt. Oh my God. And planted in it. What about that? No fuss, no muss. I did do one raised bed. This has got cucumbers, tomatoes, spinach, and broccoli. And I think one more thing, and to be honest, I made these cute little tags, as I said before, and they got lost. So, surprise! Just like these down here. These are going to be a surprise. I might have to go back to my own videos just to see if I remember what I planted. I just can't do it. But self-sustaining. Any food you can grow is food you don't have to buy. This is the time to learn how to be self-sustaining. Packing your pantries is all good and well if you can do it. But you know what? Seeds are a lot cheaper. Let's be real. I paid $30 for my first round of seeds, and I got 20,000 seeds. Yeah, hello. All heirloom and GMO. Let me take you over here. Why did I get heirloom? Because they're very hardy. They're a lot hardier than your foo-foo hybrids. I don't want a foo-foo hybrid. Let's walk in the back. The cabin's coming along. Sorry, I can't help it every time I walk by the cabin. I'm so excited to get in it. This bed back here, look at this tilled up mess of red clay. I put 90 bean plants in the ground the other day. I got lima beans and 2 different green beans. I'm going to be at it again today. Got my garden boots on. And this is not amended soil. This is all I had. Sorry, I had red clay soil. Every year this will get better. I didn't have a garden tiller. Our friend came over with a tractor. Thank God. Love you, Bob. And kind of tilled this up, but it wasn't like a normal tiller with the discs. It was just kind of a rough till, but I don't care. I've worked it in by hand. So if you've got the tenacity, you can do it. Don't let anybody tell you. I say that every video. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do it. Open up the ground and stick a seed in. Give it a go. You know what? As I've said a gabillion times, our ancestors didn't have Kubotas and John Deere tractors. They had to move out here and come to new lands. They just did what they could with what they had. Okay, so on to the pantry. Okay, guys, here we are. A lot of people have been showing what you need to be stocking up on, what you need to be putting back. But I want to tell you, because some of it is a little on the panicky side, food prices are going up huge. We know that, right? So for whatever reason, a lot of people cannot afford to be buying up a grocery store. If you get once a week a can of beans, a can of veg, a chicken, canned meat, chicken, spam, any canned meat, some tomato sauce. These are dry canned beans. A lot of people say oven canning, dry canning. I'm not going to be a word fanatic. I come from a canning family, so yeah. This is sugar. I have flour too, but it's in a 50-pound container, an airtight container. Things like toothpaste, razors. I have pens, pencils. A lot of people, you've got to be a prepper. You got to start prepping. Okay, hold the phone. And just number one, the whole prepping catchphrase seems to be kind of new. We used to call it just keeping a pantry. Back in the 70s in Michigan, if anybody can remember what year that was, we had a snowstorm. We had an absolute snowstorm. We were snowed in for, was that 3 days, 5 days? My parents, who weren't preppers, didn't skip a beat. We had a fireplace. My mom took blankets and hung them across the family room entryways, because the fireplace was in the family room. My dad went out to the back. He always kept a wood pile, got some wood, got a fire going. My mom immediately started heating up coffee next to the fireplace with a camp percolator. We had warm food. We didn't skip a beat. They weren't called preppers or prepping. It was just being prepared. But like I said, so many other people feel intimidated by this or feel badly, like, well, if I don't do this, I can't take care of my family. What am I going to do? Just stop. Don't listen to all the, you've got to have this, you've got to have that. I've been doing this for decades and decades. I grew up this way. So if you can't go out and spend $800 right now on backstock, don't feel bad. Grab a bag of dried beans. If that's I think they're still under $1, not sure. Because I don't go to the grocery store that often. But 1 can extra, 1 can of something extra a week, 1 bag of dried beans. But do you see what I don't have represented here? Try to skip the junk food. I see a lot of videos with junk. If you know what, poo-poo really hits the fan, the last thing you should be concerned with is your Debbie cake. Seriously? I mean, just let's be real. You should be thankful to have something in your mouth, and feeding your family nutritiously as possible should be your goal. Not just filling tummies. Rice and oatmeal. I have a lot of rice and oatmeal backstocked. I have a lot of dried beans. Even I do have jars of cooked beans, and a lot of people say you really want to, if you're going to can cooked beans. I do have a lot of cooked beans already canned, because they say, well, if the power goes out, how are you going to cook your beans? If you're in an apartment situation, excellent. How are you going to cook them? If you have a backyard, I don't care if it's a porch, little patio area, you better just learn how to cook over fire. It is not intimidating as you think. It is not that difficult. Our ancestors did it this way. That's what we really need to think about. What did they do back in the 1700s? What did the colonial people do? They weren't canning so much. They didn't have a lot of ready-made food. What they did to cook their food is, they had a fire. They didn't have a microwave. Hi, Mr. Fly on my container. So if you don't know how to cook food over an open fire, make a little backyard fire and practice. It's fun. It really is fun. But being prepared is also not just about having canned goods out the wazoo or beans, flour. I mean, I keep things like flour, like I said, oatmeal. I probably keep 20 to 25 pounds of yeast on hand, even though you don't need yeast if you do a sourdough starter or you have a bread bowl. A lot of people don't know those old-fashioned wood bread bowls. That's why they had them. Those little pieces that stuck in there, they used it to start another bread. Listen, I just wanted to make sure that you guys feel great about yourself. Know you're doing everything you can, that you have positive energy. Do stock things. If you're going to get other things like lighters or waterproof matches are actually the best. Strike anywhere, put them in a waterproof container or a Ziploc bag. Stuff like this to have on hand is also awesome. We keep flint and steel because we know how to start fires with flint and steel. Because somebody can come in and also rob you of your food. Now what are you going to do? What are you going to do? In total chaos and mass panic and civil unrest, very possible. What are you going to do? Do you know how to forage? Do you know how to hunt? Do you know how to fish? If you're a vegetarian, do you know what is in the wild that you can eat? Those are the skills, my friends. Those are the things that my mom, I said this before in another video, my mom used to say, what you know is the only thing that somebody can't take from you. So while all this is hunky-dory, and it's great, like I said, if you can just do one a week, if that's your budget, stay within your budget. Food is getting very, very, very expensive. Last time I went to the grocery store, I was in shock when they said groceries went up by 7%. And I saw a lot of prices, I'm sorry, that were double. So I don't know where they're getting the 7% from. But every little bit helps. This was 33 cents at Aldi. So 1 extra can a week, 2 extra can, whatever you can do in your comfort zone will help in the long run. Your beauty aids, your toothpaste. This was at Dollar Tree when it was still $1. So it was $1. They were Dollar General. I can't remember, but they were cheap little Dollar Tree pencils. Just think about things that would be handy. But I don't necessarily keep a boatload. I know how to make toothpaste. Simple homemade recipes for toothpaste are all over Google. They're all different a little bit. So find what suits you. You might not like the flavors you might like, but baking soda. That's a great pantry item, is baking soda. That'll clean your teethies, and you can use baking soda as deodorant. But in a true scenario, God knows what's going to happen. Make sure you have the knowledge and the skill set. Practice your skill set. Practice foraging. That's a real fun day. Go to a state park and practice foraging. See if you can identify things. There is, off the top of my head, I know of 5 apps for your phone that you can just point your phone, take a picture, and it'll identify what it is. See how many you can get right. But don't fall into feeling bad because you don't have the means to do this. Life happens, budgets happen, living paycheck to paycheck. It's a real thing. I don't want anybody to feel left out. Honestly, if you study these things, starting fires with flint and steel, knowing how to cook over an open fire, foraging, hunting, or fishing, things like that, if you have that knowledge, you are so far ahead of a lot of people I know who have stocked up on all this stuff. But if someone came in and stole it, they'd be SOL because they wouldn't know what to do. Oh my God, they took my food. They took my pantry items. Also have a means to protect yourself if you are not someone who is comfortable with firearms. I understand, not trying to trigger anyone, but we have firearms and we're all trained with firearms. We've taught classes with firearms. So think about ways to protect your family, or even if it's a hunting rifle that you're going to go hunt with. Always, please remember your gun safety. If you have children in the house, I just want to say that we go over safety first in every class. We also, are blessed enough to have a group of people that we get together and we even hone our skills quite often. My husband is a retired doctor, so we keep different things on hand. We keep medical supplies, really important. First aid kits, Band-Aids, gauze, things like Neosporin, peroxide, alcohol. We have chest wound seals and suturing equipment, and our medical goes a little above and beyond because my husband has that kind of knowledge. If we had an emergency situation, even if you came across somebody with a gunshot wound to the chest, that's where the chest seals, and it's kind of on a different level. And if you don't know how to use that kind of stuff, I wouldn't recommend it because you can actually end up hurting the patient more than helping. But definitely your first aid things. Just think about things that you use all the time. Think about things that you use in an emergency. A deep cut, that's an emergency. What do you run to your cabinet and get? You run to get gauze, or you run to get your antibacterial. Wound dressing. That's the stuff that you run to get. It's basically common sense. So look around your house. Some people use different things than others. If you're a guy, and you're living alone, you're going to need different things than the ladies. Please, though, please do not feel bad that you think you can't do enough. Any little bit helps. 1 or 2 things a week makes a huge difference. But get the knowledge in. That's free. Studying, that's free. Okay, my rant is over. You all are worth it, and you all are so fabulous. Peace out. Have a lovely day. Love y'all.